What if everything you've been told about the future of humanity is missing the bigger picture? Every day we are surrounded by stories of fear, division, and collapse. But what if humanity isn't heading toward its end, but toward a profound awakening? In this video, I want to share what I believe reclaiming our sovereignty is a key to understanding what's really happening. We've got a lot to talk about. Hello everyone, this is Kevlan. I see a lot of content right now about doom and gloom, about whatever is going on at the collective level, whether it's a war, whether it's a digital grid that is little by little being installed pretty much everywhere in the world with the digital economy and the digital grid overall, which is going to lead to control for or controlling our lives in every aspect of our lives. So I wanted to talk about what is the solution of all of this and not trying to fight the system using the same means, but instead fighting the system from with a very different approach, which I call sovereignty. So what it means to be sovereign again. You see a lot of people that are talking about the future, this Orwellian future, the 1984 book, and that's basically where we're going at the collective level, this very dark future. It's, to me, forgetting that we live in a world of duality, we live in a world of polarity. So there will always be two sides of the coin, of the same coin, with on one side the shadow, on the other side the light. So both sides of the coin. So to me, there will never be a future where it's just going to be one side of the coin, which is the negative side, the shadow side, and that's it. There will be nothing else going through that collective story. I don't believe this will ever happen because, again, we live in a duality polarity world. If one polarity, one side of the coin is getting more force or is getting more power overall, let's say we look at the world and we're like, oh wow, I see the shadow work is getting the shadow government or the shadow side of the collective is getting more and more power. You have to understand that as one side is getting more power, the other side is also getting more power, because again, we live in a polarity type of world and the balance has to be respected. So if one side is getting very one side of the pendulum is getting very left or on the dark side, then obviously the other side of the pendulum will also going very very high on the light side. And that's why right now we live in a world where, yes, I'm not denying that there is a shadow part of the collective that is being seen by a lot of people with this potential future, and people are talking about with more control and digitalizations of everything. But you also have to understand that as one side is getting more power, so is the other side. And that's the reason why we see more and more people, we're going through an awakening at the collective level where more and more people are starting questioning their lives, questioning what they think they know, questioning how they've been living their life for a long time, questioning the story they have been defining themselves with. So we see more and more of that is because as one side is getting more power, so is the other side. So we will never go to a world where all it's going to be is it's going to be negative, it's going to be shadow, it's going to be dark, and everybody's going to be controlled, and it will be a lot of a lot of fear and a lot of things like that. I don't believe this will ever happen, because as we go deep and more powerful on one side, the other side will also have to go more powerful. And as we go deeper on the shadow side of the collective, we're going to see more and more power on the light side of the collective, with a stronger awakening, with people starting to reclaim more and more their sovereignty, reclaim more and more their power, and having their abilities, and a new world will start emerging more and more. Because again, that's the balance. We live in a world of polarity, and the balance is the middle, the neutral between those two polarities. So I wanted to me, The only way you want to fight this system, or you want to fight the future and the collective not being absorbed by this negative potential, future potential with control and everything and deception, the only way for you is to reclaim your sovereignty. And what do I mean by reclaiming your sovereignty? You see, when we're born, we come into this world, we hear a story. And that story is all about competition, survival of the fittest. We're here to survive. There is not enough for everyone. So if there's not enough for everyone, what does it mean? We need to compete. We need to compare. We need to be better than others. We need to force an outcome. That's the story we've been told. And based on this story, we just, exist and try to live and survive into this world. So as a result, because we're in survival, we have this fear, we have these limiting beliefs, and I call that the filter. I truly believe that we live in a self-projected universe where basically we are the one, by observing it, by having our consciousness observing your reality, or observing it, then your reality will be projected with your mind. So basically the life that you have is basically you are an active participant in creating the life that you have. Your life is created based on a filter, and the filter is basically what I call our state of being. So the way you feel, the way you think, your belief, your assumptions, your conditioning, your habits, your fear, all of this will make you who you are. And based on who you are, your life will be projected. So your life, which is to me again a mirror of your filter, of your state of being. And for a very long time, this filter has been molded, has been shaped in a certain way for us to see life, to live ourselves, to live life under a certain story. There was a spell that really shaped our filter, shaped of who we are, shaped our belief system, and shaped our own state of being, which as a result has created the life that we have. And that's why collectively we create this collective story. So for a long time, the war, or when people are talking about the war, we experience war at the outside, and looking at externally at the collective level, we see there is war happening. But the real war has never been outside of us. The real war is within us, has been on our state of being, has been on how we think and how we feel and how we assume and how we believe and how we fear. That has been the real war, because based on all of this, you're gonna create and project your reality and your life. And if we can create the same story, and if we can shape the same filter collectively with the same story, then guess what? We're gonna create a collective story that is going to reflect not what we truly want if we align ourselves with who we are, but we're going to create a story, or it's going to create an external reality, a collective reality based on whoever has been controlling our filter for a long time. So the real war has been on ourselves, has been within, has been about controlling our mind. That has been the real war. And if you want to go back to sovereignty, you have to reclaim your power. You have to reclaim your mind. That is the real war, and that is the real work. Because once you start reclaiming your mind, you start reclaiming your sovereignty, you start living your life under your own story, and being able to transcend all the limiting beliefs, all the stories that has been defining yourself for a very long time, all the fears, all the self-sabotaging thoughts and the like, then you're gonna free yourself. And once you free yourself, you become untouchable by the system. You're gonna be untouchable and invisible to the system and to the power structure in place. And as people are doing this over the world, across the world, then guess what? The power in place is going to lose power, because again, they only have power because we give it to them. There is no other reason why they have power. They are not more powerful than us. The only reason they have power is because certain people still believe that they have power over them. And as a result, they give that power away. And when you give your power away, you make the power to someone. So as you start reclaiming yourself, reclaiming your mind, reclaiming your sovereignty, you start reclaiming your power, and then your power, you give it to yourself, and you don't give it to anything else, to anyone else, to any other places, to any people, and so on and so forth. So you become the power, and once you become the power, you become a true sovereign being, and as a result of this, you become untouchable by the system. So then it doesn't really matter what's going to happen collectively, because you're going to become untouchable anyway, because you are completely reclaimed your power and your sovereignty over it. So that's, to me, the path of freedom is basically reclaiming your power, reclaiming your mind that has been shaped for thousands of years, reclaiming your sovereignty. And as you do so, you don't have to worry about what's going to happen collectively. You don't have to worry about the doom and gloom and the potential future of control, because again, what does control mean? Control means you give someone power over you so that they have control over you. But if you don't give your power away to anything and you keep it to yourself, no one can have control over yourself. So it's really something to think about, and I invite you to start looking at it from that angle, or at least trying to listen to it and see if it resonates with you. If this content will resonate with you, like the video, subscribe to my channel. I like to share my insight. I like to share different insight about the world, about transformation, how we can go back to reclaim our power, how we can reclaim our sovereignty once and for all. So stay tuned. I will make more video about that. So subscribe to my channel, like the video. Send me a comment perhaps on the things you want to clarify. If you agree, if this content resonates with you, I would love to hear that. I would love to hear where you're also listening this video from. Also, I left in the link down below my free self-awareness starter guide, which is going to give you the first step of how you can reclaim your power. Also, send me a comment and send alignment in comment if you want me to send you more information about my transformation program, and how we can work together, and how I can help you reclaim your sovereignty, reclaim your power, and align yourself with your greatest version. In the meantime, stay aware, stay conscious. Until next time.